the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I am Slick Doggy the Grip.
And it is 8 o'clock. It is Monday night Central Standard Time. And if you are not tuned into this live, if you're downloading this podcast, wherever it is you download your podcast, you're missing out on a lot of the fun. You can join in live wherever you like to do it. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Twitch. We start this every Monday night at 8 o'clock. And if you're watching on any of those platforms, you can just see right there in the corner all of our Twitch viewers that are already joined in on the fun. Because if you are on Twitch and you do like us and subscribe or whatever, you don't have to subscribe. You can just like us and follow us on Twitch. You can get into the pre-show and we just sit and we chat with you guys about like problems at Walmart and the just, I don't know, what else did we talk about? We talked about like cocktails. We talked about Halloween. We talked about like burnout and stress and not having any friends. Like we just talked about all kinds of fun stuff. So join us there for what sounds like a really good time now that I've said it out loud.
Yeah, when you leave that till the end to put that in. I was apologizing to all of our Discord members for my lack of presence.
Well,
though once in a while, I do put something interesting in there. Though I don't usually come back for a bit.
Well, anyway, if you're just joining us, we talk about movies. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to give you the week roundup of what's happened in the world of film, what was at the box office, what's coming out in this box office that's ahead of us, and so on and so forth. So, it's. Did you see any movies this weekend, Jay?
Yeah, man. I watched. There was literally nothing new in our local theaters whatsoever, except for the Taylor Swift movie and a single Indian film, which
you totally watched.
I did not.
What?
No, it didn't look interesting. It was about a bunch of like college bros that just like to be like prank people or something. It looked terrible, and it had terrible show times. But what I did watch was a movie that snuck its release in, which is Totally Killer on Amazon.
Oh, I did not know that was it was out yet.
I didn't know it was out yet either until someone told me. So I watched that, the slasher comedy time travel movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for it.
Yeah, I remember the trailer too, and I was like, well, that could be fun. And it turns out Amazon was just like, there it is.
Well, cool. Well, we will talk about that later in the show. First things first, we like to talk about what happened last week in the news. A week happened. The Taylor Swift movie came out and completely changed the game here. We would be not doing our jobs if we didn't acknowledge what happened with the Taylor Swift movie. It's breaking records, concert movie records, October records. I don't know. There's a record for everything. You know, we always make the joke like it broke the record for the most people ever in a theater in this date on this time on this afternoon in history. And you're like, what? For a concert movie with a female lead eating popcorn at the same time. Records are stupid.
The most times I had to press pause on the movie and turn the lights up to remind everyone not to scream because it's still a movie theater.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen. That whole movie, I'm sure you couldn't hear anything in that movie. I saw some video clips of like people like dancing at the front of the theater, which I would have just, I would have put a stop. If that was my theater, I would have just turned the lights on. I'm like, we're done, guys. Get out. Get out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's your money back. Get out of my theater. I don't even want your money.
Screaming and disturbing all of the other movies.
Yeah, screaming so loud you can hear it in your soul in the other movie.
Movies that have some sort of artistic merit film-wise. But whatever.
Taylor Swift movie made all the money. Another thing that I thought was pretty interesting, Disney Plus. I don't, and this is one that's always been kind of strange. Disney Plus or Disney. Let's just go ahead and start with the animated masterpiece that has somehow always been at the outskirts of what is cool and what people like and fandom. And there's always merchandise for it, but it's always hard to find. And a lot of people have never seen it, but it's Gargoyles. Like the animated show Gargoyles. Like did you watch Gargoyles?
A little bit. It wasn't really my thing. Also, what did it air? Was it on ABC or something? Because I rarely ever caught it. I was like a Nickelodeon kid.
Well, Gargoyles, it was on
Fox
it was on
Kids.
network television because I didn't have Disney Channel growing up.
I didn't either, yeah.
And so, I think it might have been on Fox Kids.
No, it was definitely not. I mean,
Because I think I watched it and The Tick both on Fox.
Tick was Fox, X-Men, and all of like the Marvel stuff was on Fox Kids. Because you had Spider-Man and X-Men and whatever. Maybe it was it on, what all was on WB? You had Freakazoid.
Oh, and the Animaniacs.
Then that's where
and
Batman was.
Tiny Toons.
Yeah, you had like Batman and Batman Beyond and Static Shock and all that.
Well, James Wan, of course, everybody knows James Wan. He's very famous for a lot of his horror movies. But James Wan and Gary Dauberman are apparently, they're both horror filmmakers. Everybody knows their movies. Disney Plus is handing them the reins of doing a live-action Gargoyles, which I don't think that I want to see. Because Goliath, so the cool thing about Gargoyles is it ties in a lot of, weird history and Shakespearean stuff, into kind of a kid's show, which it was a cartoon for kind of nerdy kids that were literate and probably didn't have a whole lot of friends, but it was a fantastic show. I don't think I want to see a live action, even if James Wan is directing. I mean, now James Wan, they gave him the Swamp Thing series, and it had one episode. Or not episode, one season.
Yeah, they promptly canceled that. And
it was
as
pretty
much
good.
as everyone liked it, just like they had done the Tick live action and things like that. Every time comic book people, actual comic book people get their friends into something like this is the show, the studio making it's canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The
Tick.
but you know what we need more of?
And the Tick.
Taylor Swift concerts. Yeah, the Tick was amazing.
Both
Swamp Things
times.
was great. Yeah, both times were great. Even the Patrick Warburton live action one, not bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
both
I thought
times.
because Cartoon and Amazon.
No, the
And there was
cartoon got 3 seasons?
Yeah, it did. It got 3 seasons. 3 masterful seasons. Oh my God, love. The Tick is, the question, everybody goes, what's your favorite superhero? And everybody's like, Iron Man, Superman, Batman. I'm the Tick. I've always been the Tick. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's the best.
He is the best. He's Mighty Blue Justice, baby. Anyway, I thought that was interesting news because I really, really, really liked Gargoyles. Vince asks on Twitch, he says, was the Amazon one good?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite good. And then its success, everybody, they canceled it and they're like, well, we'll do The Boys, which is basically the Tick with dicks. And
Yeah, the Tick with gore.
yeah, and it's let's blow up heads and then shake wieners and make the Tick again. And they did. And The Boys was wildly successul.
Well, before we move too far away from the Disney bit, one other thing is that Disney was recently called out. Ticks with dicks. Disney was called out for using AI actors, which in a movie they released, which is exactly what part of that whole actors strike against all the producers and filmmakers
was kind of about.
Yeah, so Prom Pact on Disney Plus has AI background actors in it, which is one of the very things that they were saying that they wanted to not have And despite everything, as soon as that strike ended, Disney was like, publish it. Yeah, put it on the internet. So there's that, because Disney doesn't care. They really don't.
No. They care about what's in your wallet and how much screen time you can get out of your eyeballs.
Well, here's something they're going to care about then, because right now, and this is something that our resident movie game winner, Dina, probably knows, is that the Marvels, about the three Marvel sisters, the Femme de Marvels, or whatever the hell.
Please let that be the new working title.
The pre-sale tickets for it are 72% less than what they've been for like Guardians and Ant-Man 3.
So like
no one,
17 people.
Yeah, no one is ramping up to see this at all, and the projections for it are being what I feel like is kind of generous, saying that it thinks it's going to have an opening weekend of $50 to $75 million, which
no.
I think with the Marvel fatigue and the superhero fatigue,
$75 million. Come on, like, okay, we're skipping ahead here, but the Taylor Swift movie only made about $90 million at the box office.
Yeah, but they're expecting other Marvel numbers, like the first
they've
Miss
lost
Marvel. It's not Miss Marvel.
GD
Miss Marvel's
in
wrong.
mind.
You're not allowed to say Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel. The Captain Marvel movie grossed like 150 something in its opening weekend. So they were expecting similar numbers out of this one, and it's really not going to happen, because why would it? It looks super dumb. You're bringing in, the Marvelette. Is she Miss Marvel, the stretchy one?
At this point,
Kamala Khan. You're bringing in Kamala Khan. And
it's all static now.
No one cares about her. No one wants that. And then the Rambo lady has powers now, whoever she is and stuff that happened I don't know if she's even from the comics. That happened in the comics after I was done reading them. But it's characters no one cares about in a setting where they're all just so OP it doesn't matter. And there you go. Which is probably why, according to the Watch podcast, Kevin Feige has said that Avengers 6 will usher in a reboot of the Marvel Universe, set to debut May 7th, 2027. They're supposed to do a soft reboot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm pretty sure in the tailspin that this thing's in, that by that time, no one's gonna care. They'll be like, dude, but Shang-Chi 3 is coming out. And everyone's like, over it, bro. We're done.
So, man, rebooting. Okay, so here's the thing. I understand the need and the sort of desire to reboot a franchise, right? You usually reboot a franchise when it has disappeared from the zeitgeist, I don't even like using that word, but we're going to. Like, it is distanced itself enough from pop fandom and modern sequels, and, they don't go, no one made the Army of Darkness, the Ash versus Evil Dead, like, series, which was arguably like a reboot of the franchise, didn't happen after 23 moderately successful sequels of Army of Darkness, right? It's like, this has been a while. People are hungry for it. We want something new. We want to hit it in a generation that's maybe never really experienced it. And now everyone's like, it's not about age. And everybody goes, well, the original Marvel movie is 22 years old now. We should reboot it. And it's like, no, you're a fucking moron. Like, if that's the way you think, like, how can we forget about something when we've been reminded of it every goddamn week for the past 20 years that this thing is still a thing? We were reminded of the original Avengers movie literally every single summer when another one of these stupid pieces of shit hits our theater. And, You can't reboot something that is still constantly being fed to us. Then it's just like another damn flavor of Oreo, you know? And I don't know why they think that this is going to work. You have to let us forget about it for a minute to reboot it. This isn't your PC. They're like, the money machine's not working. Let's reboot it. Let's turn it on and turn it off and turn it back on.
Disney's straight up just holding the power button down and pressing it again just to fire it right back up. It's like, let it cool out. Clean the dust out of the thing, man.
Rebooting still means turning off.
Yeah.
And then back on.
Velvet Santa says, please give us Punisher Warzone 2. I asked for that since the day that Warzone came out. I watched Warzone the day it was released. I loved it. It was exactly Punisher. It was incredible. It was a comic book movie for people that like comic books, which is why none of your MCU people know about it or have ever watched it or would give it a chance. Rip Ray Stevenson. That movie is
Ray
sick.
Stevenson. Are you talking about like the artist, the music artist?
No, dude, the actor that just
I was
passed
thinking
away.
Ray Stevens.
No, the actor that played.
Who used to have a theater
Punisher.
at Branson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Super Chicken, or Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer, and things of that nature. Isn't that Ray Stevens?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea about that.
Maybe he is. Maybe he is. I don't know. Somebody in the comments is going to Google it, and they're going to go, yes, you're correct. Dina said, in the comments, she summed it up pretty well. Reboots happen after the pop culture relevance of the last iteration has well ended. That is correct. That is how reboots need to stay. You can't,
Or just don't do reboots. That's
just
fine
don't.
too.
Like, maybe it's like, okay, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to stop. And, let's focus on something else. We had a good run with this comic book stuff.
The good
Let's
reboots
pause.
are like The Mummy. Or,
But if they tried to reboot that, no. You did it once and it was great.
well, I mean, how far between was one to the other? Like, 60 years?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
give that one another 30 years before you worry about doing that. And then, is Travis saying that Ray Stevens is the guy you're thinking about?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what else is dying?
My passion for movies.
Well, that, yeah. But one thing we talked about in the pre-show a little bit, but for everyone else here, physical media, man,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
being murdered. It's dead forever.
I bought 3 DVDs today.
Well, there you go. You're doing it. But as of next year, Best Buy will no longer have DVDs or Blu-rays online or in-store, which I really don't know who was buying them at Best Buy anyhow because they want all the dollars. Them and Barnes & Noble are like, here's a DVD, $69. And I'm like, no, not going to happen.
At Barnes & Noble.
Dude, go to the Barnes & Noble
Good
section
Lord.
and look at their movies and how much their movies cost. It's like there's a reason no one's buying this. And then Walmart said they're getting rid of their video game physical media. So,
But if Best Buy, so if Walmart gets rid
Best
of their
Buy's keeping their video games,
but
and
getting rid of
Walmart's-
their DVDs.
Yeah, and I think Walmart's keeping their DVDs and getting rid of their video games.
And I feel like at a certain point, because just like when Netflix or something, they do something that bucks the system just a little bit to get everybody acclimated, and then one company kind of goes, oh geez, and takes a little bit of that hit of making a cultural change. Then they all follow suit. Like everybody was like, no, everybody's gonna freaking flip their lids and cancel Netflix because Netflix is cracking down on password sharing. I'm giving up my Netflix. I'm sticking with Disney Plus, man, because that's where it is. And then as soon as Netflix did it, Disney Plus was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do it too. And it's like, okay, guy. And then the guy that was so like adamant about it was like, well, guess they got me. Gonna get my account. No more password sharing. Gotta have my episodes of HGTV Home Makeovers.
Dina says there's plenty of DVDs at Barnes & Noble for less than $70. Not many, at least not the ones you want to watch. And then Travis over here on Facebook said Dread was a good reboot. I disagree.
I will agree. I liked the Dredd
I
reboot, and it was appropriate. It was appropriate timing.
We're Judge Dredd fans here.
We are both Judge Dredd fans.
I am a big fan of 2000 AD in the comic book and have read many chapters of Judge Dredd, and the Carl Urban Dredd was not Judge Dredd.
Okay, so I will agree with you there.
It was
Like,
not Mega City.
It was not Mega
It was
City.
not Judge Dredd.
It was just the raid with a different skin.
It was riot police in an apartment building.
It was the raid.
It was the raid, but there was no Mega City. Those were not real judges. The only thing that was cool was getting to see, like, you know, psychic judges and stuff for a second, but she wasn't near as cool as they should be.
I will say that it was a good movie.
It was fun.
It was a fun movie.
I watched it in 3D in the theater. I have my Dredd 3D glasses.
But, I mean, as far as like a Dredd movie, you know. Honestly, if the two were to have combined, if you would have taken that movie and slapped the 90s Sylvester Stallone one, like that Mega City, that visual style, that Dredd, kept his fucking helmet on the whole time.
That's the whole thing. There's two complaints that people have about Judge Dredd that are legitimate. That Stallone took the helmet off, and everyone's like, you don't get to see Joe Dredd's face. You don't get to see Dredd's face. Okay, fair. You know what? But whatever. And then that he kissed Hershey at the end because judges don't do that. That's fair because Judge Dredd would never do that. Everything else about that movie, Mega City is sick. The Cursed Earth is sick.
Yeah, it is.
Rico actually got to be cooler in that movie than he did in the comics because Rico in the comics shows up and he's like, Dredd, I'm your twin and you sent me to Jupiter. And Dredd goes, tough luck. Boom. And that's the end of Rico.
I could have done with less Rob Schneider, but that's just because I don't like
See,
Rob
that's
Schneider.
my complaint because if you ever read the comics,
I know, the Big
that's,
Stinky.
Yeah, that he's supposed to be Fergie and he's not King of the Big Stinky. And where was Wobby the Wobot, bro? Like, if you're going to have Fergie, like, anyhow, I like the 90s Judge Dredd quite a bit because it is Judge Dredd. Dredd is the raid and the riot police. They're not judges. It's not Mega City. It's not anything 2000 AD.
It's very not 2000.
I did not care for it as Judge Dredd, but it was a fun movie.
That was a fun movie.
And, you know, the...
derailing back to an earlier conversation thread in the comments section, Mark Landry on YouTube, he says, have you guys heard about the Netflix brick and mortar stores? Yes.
Yep.
And I'm curious about these because I feel like, you know, they've got all this surplus of DVDs, right? They've got all of this inventory of physical media, and they're like, what are we going to do with it? I think this is just going to be a weird pilot boutique tax write-off money sink project that they're going to open a couple of locations, you know, get their tax write-off for building stuff, blah, blah, blah. Getting all this physical media is somewhere as a startup, and then it's probably not gonna.
When it said they're selling movie-related things, right? Like the pictures I saw was like TVs and TV stands and
You know,
popcorn bags or something.
well, Netflix hasn't really announced what is going to be happening at these locations, but according to a Bloomberg report, it said the company's vice president was like, they want to open a network of stores offering retail, dining, and live entertainment to leverage its TV and movie shows.
It's going to take that little Netflix section at Walmart and it's just going to expand it up.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
As Mark says on YouTube, he says they're going to sell Stranger Things hats, basically. Yeah.
That's probably true.
You know, it's whatever. But yes, I have heard about those. It's going to be interesting. I wish that they would just do rentals. You know, you could rent some movies there with their physical DVDs and, you know, do some food and fun. That would be cool.
I wonder. I signed up to get my 10 disc from Netflix.
Did you get them yet?
I haven't got them yet. I need to look into that and see if when they're sending those out and if I made the cut or whatever.
It was all a hoax.
Dude, I currently have a DVD sitting at home that I paid. I did the math on it before. It was like over $3,000 for over the
hell yeah
15 years.
Shrink
that I've had
wrap it and sell it just like Pete Davidson.
Yeah. So yeah, I need to look into that. You know what? Talking streaming stuff too. You see that new Monarch Monsters nonsense trailer for Apple Plus?
Yeah.
You know what makes monster movies and Godzilla and stuff cool? The monsters.
The monsters.
You know what makes them not fun, especially these last few that they've
people.
been making? The people.
Yeah. the hard-edged teenage girl that's gonna go against the grain with all these scientists and army men because she's somehow connected to this kaiju. And
Stranger Thing girl. Yeah.
Oh man,
Super dumb.
stupid storylines.
Even with Kurt Russell, I'm like, I don't want people. Get these people away from my monster stuff. But you know what? I did see, since they're doing Godzilla -0 or -1, what is it? Whatever the new Japanese Godzilla is. I saw an article about that, about why the Japanese Godzillas work so much better than the not ones by doing that same thing where they have like a people and a character versus these, and I don't know why. I suppose that's a fair question, but I think you get a little bit more monster sprinkled in those.
A smattering of more monsters.
Yeah, they're not like trying to hide it with like, oh, there's an ankle of a big lizard. Oh my gosh. Or like the doors closing right as you get to see Godzilla and all that crap that these movies do. Like these people, like they're doing their people thing or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, hey, there's a monster, and then the camera's like, look at this guy. Yeah. -1.
-1.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't very impressed
-1
by the Monarch thing. Plus, it's on Apple Plus, so I'm not gonna watch it. So there's that.
I'll find a screener.
But other interesting trailers, and something that one of our viewers mentioned in the comments a little earlier, is that the Iron Claw trailer came out. Did you see this?
I did not.
Dude, it looks so cool. The story of the Von Erich wrestling family. And it looks so good. All my friends that are wrestlers and involved in wrestling and like wrestling are talking about it. It looks really cool. It's kind of weird to me that Carrie isn't the main character, being the most famous of the Von Erichs. But it's supposed to take place in the early 80s when they're like, the Von Erichs were coming to be where they were the family in wrestling, and them and the Harts, and they're on top. It looks good, man. It's one of those things you don't have to be a wrestling fan to watch it, because it's going to introduce you to the whole thing. Dude, that's Zac Efron, ripped as fuck, bro. Yeah.
Oh, that's
the dude from the
bear?
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody wants to watch this because
he's
they're
Carrie
like,
Von Erich.
dude, look at these dudes with their shirts off. Is that why you want to watch it?
Everyone wants to watch it because it's about the Von Erichs, and they're cool as hell, man. The Texas Tornado and all that. The modern day warrior. You're gonna have.
This is gonna get so many Taylor Swift fans into wrestling.
Maybe, but you're also gonna get to see Ric Flair. You're gonna get to see Michael Hayes. You're gonna get to see Harley Race. There's gonna be all sorts of other wrestlers put to screen. It looks so cool, man. Everything about it looks good. But my initial reaction when I saw my buddies post about it and everything is. It's going to be a bummer, bro. This is going to be a sad...
Because don't they die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in real life. Yeah. Very tragic.
I was like, that's what I know about them, is they died.
Yeah.
I mean, we all die, but, this was a sad one.
Yeah. But
dude, Zac Efron looks...
like someone ate Zac Efron.
Yeah, and it's like wearing his skin.
Yeah.
There's another person inside Zac Efron.
Yeah, another excessively ripped dude inside.
Did like Mickey Rourke eat
climb inside?
He's climbing inside him. He was like, because like his head just like went. Like, how does one's jaw like get thicker?
There's workouts for that. You can make your face and neck and stuff. Yeah,
that's super weird.
But dude, he looks good. He looks like a wrestler. Like
he looks more like a wrestler than the other guy.
Yeah, they look like wrestlers. I'm very excited about this.
Oh, there's Ric Flair. Oh well, there it is. The Iron Claw.
Yeah, very cool. Looks super good. And another trailer that came out, kind of a surprising one, was a Eddie Murphy Christmas trailer, which it's not even Halloween yet.
That's like the candy cane,
calm down.
Something or another.
Yeah, Candy Cane Lane. It's like Bedazzled, but for Christmas. Like the devil gives him a wish, and he wishes for the best Christmas.
And it doesn't go well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get to see too much of that because this is the teaser trailer, even though it's a minute and a half long, which we've.
What is it rated? I didn't check that out. Do we know what it's rated?
Likely PG.
Damn it! I just need more Eddie Murphy
It's streaming, so
rated R.
Do they have to do ratings on streaming?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's an Amazon thing.
Because like when Netflix did the Rudy Ray Moore movie with Eddie Murphy, it was like, oh my God, Eddie Murphy's back. I can't contain my excitement. And this is like right back to 90s Eddie Murphy, like bullshit or like early 2000s when he died to me.
Listen, dude, I like Pluto Nash.
That was the last good Eddie Murphy movie.
Lots of people hate it, man.
That was the last good one.
Yeah.
There was a series of
Like
Norbit and Haunted Mansion and the other several that I don't want to think about anymore. Like, oof.
Well, with that, you know what? Talking about careers that are over.
Meet Dave. Yeah, oof.
Michael Caine announced that he's
Caine.
officially retiring at 90 years old.
Well, good.
But the reason he's doing it is not because he's like
90.
It's not because he's like, dude, I'm done. He said that it's too hard for him to get a leading role.
'Cause you're 90.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. He said it's too tough at 90 to score a leading role, and therefore he's
had a good
done.
run, but let's not try and reboot yourself, Michael Caine.
Yeah.
You know, what was that movie? And God, was it Sleuth? Where Michael Caine, like, it was a reboot of a movie with Michael Caine, and then Jude Law played the character that Michael Caine played in the original, and Michael Caine played the opposite character. I think it was Sleuth. Brain. It's been 100,000 years since I've thought about that movie. But that was a good reboot. Yes, okay. Someone confirmed. Travis confirmed on Facebook. It was Sleuth. That's a good reboot. You know, and it even had Michael Caine in, reprising a role from the other movie, but playing the other character. And Travis been listening to the show long enough that remembered that I saw it at Fiesta Square when I don't remember seeing it at Fiesta Square. Thank you for that memory. Yeah. Any other news before we talk about what came out in theaters?
Yeah, man. Stuff from the New York City Comic-Con, which is they talked to Matthew Vaughn, the director of the Kingsman movies, and all that. He said that the Kingsman 2 is in the works. It will be about the rise of Hitler and his support from like British.
Everybody likes a good
rich
punching
people.
Hitler in the dick story.
Yeah, well, because he showed up, I guess, at the end of The King's Man, and this movie is going to be about his rise and the support he got from countries that he would later be at war with.
Because we're kind of out of universally hated bad guys in cinema. You know, like even now we can't be like, you go back to like the 80s and 90s and it's always like the Ukrainians are here to steal our plutonium. You can't do that anymore. Like, oh, the Iranians are here to sell a nuclear missile, like in True Lies.
Well, and
you can't do that.
The villains that are real villains are always like
Always
cool
do
and
niceties.
people like them, and it doesn't work. Like Darth Vader in A New Hope in Episode 4 in Star Wars was just evil. He was a very bad person. He was evil incarnate. There was no redeeming factor to him.
And that's okay. You can
He
get
got
away
shot
with
and he got blasted off,
in
right?
science fiction. It's easy.
But then in Empire, that's when he's like, no, dude, Luke, I'm your dad, bro. And everyone's like, what? There's layers. And then he wasn't sympathetic until the third movie, right? He didn't come in until Episode 6 where he's sympathetic. But no one wants to make characters like that anymore. They all want to have that whole arc in the first movie.
James on Facebook said Russians will become the new hot villain again. Well, because there was a while, like, you remember when like the Cambodians or something stupid were when that Rambo movie came out, and they're like, let's make him a bad guy, but let's also make him like a child rapist and a baby eater and all these things.
You could do the Top Gun 2 thing, which is nondescript, definitive random bad guy.
Well, they need to have like what's the country that Dr. Doom runs in the comic books? It's like he has his own island country.
It's not an island. It's in Europe.
Yeah, it's some fake country that didn't they do that in like Top Gun, the Maverick?
That's what I'm saying. Top Gun 2. Yeah, it was a nondescript.
Yeah, they're just like
undefinitive.
it's friggin' Jago-Perkistandovia.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, let's get them. We got to bomb them.
But yeah. So that'll be the first Kingsman was in World War One. This one will be leading up to World War II. But he also said that coming in 2024, they're rebooting Kick-Ass because back to the reboot thing. Kick-Ass has not been out long enough at all for it to be reboot, nor was it a
that
beloved
amazing?
property.
Yeah, it was
either
like, it was
in the comics
good.
or its live action movie, because its live action movie came not long after its comics. That comic came out in 07,
Yeah,
08.
it's not an old
I
comic.
bought them brand new. And then Kingsman 3 will be filming starting next year as well. And then also in an interview with The Wrap, Ryan Johnson said that now that the strike's over, he's going to start working on Knives Out 3.
Oh, great. Another Agatha Christie movie that's not Agatha Christie.
Did you not like the last two?
I hated the last one.
You didn't like Glass Onion?
No, I thought it was stupid.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I mean, I thought that it was the only part that I liked is that it was so self-referential on the fact that it's titled Glass Onion, which at the beginning is just like, oh yeah, it's all these layers are just bullshit and you can see right through it. And like that was it. Then my problem with Glass Onion is all of the cameos got in the way of the whodunit.
Yeah, but at the beginning of Glass Onion, they say that isn't like Daniel Craig's character. He's like, "That's so stupid." And
I mean, it was those parts that I liked,
like,
but I wouldn't. I mean, I liked Knives Out okay as a whodunit. It was fun.
Yeah.
Very predictable. The thing I think I like the least about Knives Out is everybody's fandom behind like Knives Out saying like, "Oh my God, it was an amazing whodunit." I was like, no, it wasn't.
No, it was fun though.
It's just like Agatha Christie's aren't great whodunits, but they're fun.
Yeah. Well, I liked Glass Onion. I thought it was fun. I thought Ed Norton being a doucher was
was good.
He's so good,
he was
just
pretty
being
good.
the biggest douche in the world. And then the last bit of news I had was just that Gerard Butler got his lawsuit with the Olympus series producers settled before the court date showed up with all the strike stuff and everything. And he's still slated to be in the fourth one. There's going to be a fourth one called Night Has Fallen. But he got some pay for the producers lying to him about the profits that the movies made. So actors,
Which is pretty common
yeah.
with producers.
So that's a good win for an actor like that.
Big money people tend to be liars. Like, how'd the movie do? Well, since you don't technically know, it didn't do very well, so fuck off. And then you find out the truth. Just like that podium here in Arkansas. Find out the truth.
Yeah, that podium cost $4 million.
Imagine that. Did you see the new? I mean, here, taking the show that people listen to across the country back to Arkansas, because that's where we're from. The hotel receipts. She spent like $24,000 on a hotel stay for her and her family, and they like matched it up, time synced it to her like posting on Instagram, being like, finishing off with room service with me and the kids and blah blah blah. And then it was like $24,000 of taxpayer money paying for her to like go fuck off and some.
Who would have thought that this person that was put into office that was just a big piece of shit on national TV, and everyone's like, look at her, she's a dumbass, and we
Let's make her a leader.
yeah, the gerrymandering peoples and lobbyists and voters of our fine state found it. She was the best one to put in charge. So, you know, of course, who would have seen it? Who would have seen it coming? She's probably going to be elected for the rest of forever, just like the last guy.
Yep. Vince over on Twitch, going back to our last comment about producers, he said the writer from Men in Black posts every year on Twitter that the studio says it still hasn't made money. Like, come on.
Yeah, 4 movies, a cartoon series, probably tons and tons of merchandise.
Yeah,
Right.
shut up.
4 movies? 4 movies.
At least. If it didn't make any money, they wouldn't have made 4 of them.
Well, there's the good one, and then there's
The pretty good one.
the second one. No, there's the
Second one was okay.
No, it has what's her face in it, and she's
I was
awful
okay
on
with it.
everything.
I was okay with it. The third one was crap, and the fourth one wasn't bad.
The third, the time travel one, and then the Chris Hemsworth one.
That one wasn't terrible. I would rank them.
They kill Liam Neeson.
That's why it was great.
No.
It's the one movie where he has a realistic ending to his fucking arc for being as ancient as he is.
What about in fucking Glaive? Help me out. What's it called?
Krull?
In Krull, where he gets smushed by the castle.
Well, that doesn't count. That was Krull. That was a fantasy epic
Krull fucks.
with the centaurs and wasn't the unicorns, the fire feet?
No, dude, they're Clydesdales, man.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
With the fire feet.
Yeah, they
still
got the fire
yeah,
feet
yeah.
so they can ride through the sky.
Dude, Krull is a great movie.
Yeah, Krull's good.
It's a terrible movie, but it's a phenomenal movie.
What? Krull's so good.
It is really, really good, but it's not great. It's fantastic, but it's not great. Yeah, Krull's fantastic. Watch Krull. If you've not seen Krull, like, you will want to throw a glaive around for at least 2 afternoons. And
Dude, if you found a glaive in lava, would you reach in and see if you could retrieve it?
duh.
You'd totally lose your hand, bro.
But what if I were to reach it and it gave me the power?
Yeah, you have like. Yeah.
Krull's awesome, and it had that weird like poster that looked so scary, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I miss Krull. I need to go watch Krull.
Krull's good. It's about
Okay,
a teleporting castle that shows up to your world to just ruin shit.
we have completely derailed this show with a lot of conversation. Let's tell you what's coming out in theaters this week. How about that?
How about it?
Catch us outside. There's only 2 big movies that are coming out in theaters this week. There's like a family film that I don't think is going to get wide release. It's called The Canterville Ghost. It's just CGI about a family moving to the Canterville Chase, which is a stately countryside mansion. It's been haunted by Sir Simon de Canterville for 300 years, and Freddie Highmore's in it. Remember him? And yeah. That'll be a thing for the kids. Also, I don't think it's going to get in wide release. I think it's just going to be in a very limited release called Malibu Horror Story. It's written and directed by Scott Sloan, but of course, being October, might get some feet. It's about a team of paranormal investigators searching a sacred cave for clues in the unsolved disappearance of 4 Malibu teens. And there's all these like early tests are saying it's the scariest crap that you've ever seen with your eyeballs in the history of cinema, and then it's not.
It's just a bunch of like Malibu's Most Wanted, like Jamie Kennedy movie people.
Oh, dude, if Jamie Kennedy comes out and goes, "Must stab you," and like, that would be, I would go see this.
Yeah.
Malibu's Most Horror. Like I would watch that movie.
I like Malibu's Most Wanted, man. That movie's dumb as fuck.
Oh man, let's see. So that's coming out. Also coming out is Dix the Musical, and Dix the Musical is from the producers of The Greatest Showman and the director of Borat. This is A24's first like musical release. I don't like musicals on screen. I will watch them all day long on stage. There's a time and a place. I love me an on-stage musical. I can't stand me an on-screen musical. So, strike one.
Dude, we've gone over this, man.
Yeah, strike one.
What about like Disney animated movies though?
That doesn't count. That's a cartoon with songs in it. It's different. It's different because it's a fantasy world. Like when the genie comes out of the lamp and he's like, you like camels are coming out of his butt, and he turns you into a rich Alibaba, and like that's fun. If you're just like walking down the street and like the person handing you coffee goes cream or sugar, fuck that. Get rid of this. I don't want to see this. And this movie is like it's got Megan Thee Stallion like going and like talking about wieners and tits and her vagina, and like this is. There is an easy recipe for shit that people will really like. And it's like, let's do a musical, but then let's talk about nutsacks a lot because edgy. And I can't handle it. I just cannot handle it. It makes me want to punch everything, always. No, I don't like Mary Poppins.
That's whack.
Someone on Facebook just asked, what about Mary
Night
Poppins?
Owlishly said something about Strange New Worlds. Star Trek should never. I'll sit here. I'll defend musicals. I'm not like some sort of musical fan or anything, but I'll defend them. They're fun.
Someone said Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I'm going to drop some very controversial hot takes here.
Oh my gosh. Hot snakes. Watch out. Dropping hot snakes.
I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
What? Bruh, not even Meatloaf when he shows up?
But here's the thing. I really enjoy Rocky Horror Picture Show when watching it in, going back to what we were talking about in the pre-show, about the group environment. I like
in the room where everyone knows the things to yell and the stuff to throw?
That's fun. That's awesome. That makes Rocky Horror Picture Show great. Would I ever sit down in my house and watch? You couldn't pay me $100 to sit and go, you know what I feel like watching tonight? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You don't want
I would rather eat a raw onion. Just no, fuck that. No,
dude. But Time Warp is so good.
Yeah, when I'm in a theater full of people in corsets and like bald caps going, let's do. That's fun. When all my homies are like having a great time. Do I want to like be sitting there like microwaving a Hot Pocket and like, you know, watching Tim Curry being like,
Also,
Transylvania.
And he
like,
sexually
nah.
molests people in that movie.
It's so, yeah, not a fan.
Someone said Cannibal the Musical. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. That one's
Cannibal
kind
the
of fun.
Musical is very good.
But I would way rather watch it on screen, on stage.
What about South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut? That's a great. Well, you said cartoons don't count.
Cartoons don't count. But like Book of Mormon, I love that musical. Would I want to watch it on screen? Absolutely not. Night Owlishly said it would have been better on a stage. Was it on a stage? No, it wasn't on a stage. Like, I would watch Rocky Horror Picture Show on a stage.
I've
all
seen
day long.
Rocky Horror Picture Show on a stage. I think it's just called
It's
the
been-
Rocky Horror
yeah,
Show.
It's
at
been
that point.
now. Like, yeah.
My uncle used to do a lot of stage productions and voice acting and all this stuff, and he was Meatloaf's character, and it was so cool. He also would do the voice of Audrey too, when they would do Little Shop of Horrors. Oh, dude, Little Shop of Horrors is good. Now, stage show is better than the movie, but it's not a bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie because they have the big set piece. with
Yeah, and
the-
you got Steve Martin with like the, doing.
Anyway, Dick's the Musical.
It looks dumb.
It looks really dumb, and I'm not a fan of this style of movie. Will it probably, people lose their minds over it? Yes. It's an easy, you sing about, I mean, human beings, we haven't really progressed since like we're 5, right? We still think boogers and farts and pee-pees and hoo-haws and titties and booty cheeks. Like, by the time we're dead, you can still like make a wiener joke or a fart joke, and someone's gonna be like, because like let's be real, we all like it, right? But it's just such an easy cop out to take a musical like this. And the first in the trailer, he's just like, I've got enormous cock, you know. And you're like, okay, well, yay! Like,
My big problem is it says they're identical twins, and the two guys don't look anything alike. Truly, that's my biggest problem.
anyway, I don't know, not a fan. But the other movie that is coming out in theaters,
Velvet Santa says the DVD release of Dick's the Musical
called the uncut version. Womp. Yeah, who was the producer on this? Anyway, also coming out, Killers of the Flower Moon. This is the new Martin Scorsese movie, 3.5 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone. You know, you've seen the trailer, you've heard about it. It's, you know, this is going to be really interesting to see what happens in theaters because Scorsese's last few movies have not been theatrical hits. This is also like kind of a serious movie. And I think that Oppenheimer was so popular because of Barbie. I think that if the whole Barbenheimer thing hadn't happened, Oppenheimer probably would not have, you know, done so financially well as it did. So I have a suspicion that Killers of the Flower Moon is not going to really perform well. in theaters for that reason. Travis Eddings on Facebook said that Mark Landon Smith is an extra in Killers of the Flower Moon. He lives here. He's a local actor. I think a big portion of this movie was filmed in Oklahoma, not very far from here. So yeah, Baldwin Orange says Scorsese doesn't edit anymore. I feel like everything he films stays in because he's an old crotchety man. That he is, and some of it I think is cool, but some of it is
He's been old for a long
he's been old for a very long time.
Something I'm interested in before we get too far away from it is that Baldwin Orange said that he saw a off-stage or off-Broadway stage production of JCVD. How does that work?
Oh, that would be great.
How does that work?
Was Jean-Claude there?
There's no way.
I mean, how was there no way? It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. What is he doing?
Like, they just cast the first dude they can find that does splits.
Splits over 2 chairs. They're like, all right, guys, can you do splits over 2 objects? All right, next, nope. Next, nope. How do you look in pants up to your armpits? Oh, nope. Yeah. Do you get a boner when Latin dancing on national television?
Is something that happened?
Yes. Oh my God. Have you not seen the clip?
Why would I?
Well, because it's hilarious. JVCD.
Was it him doing like the Lionheart like dance or something? And
oh man, hang on. No, this is hilarious. You gotta. Yeah. So it's like this old. I mean, this is not the most like high quality clip, but anyway, he's on this like Latin television and this like babe. So for those of you who listen to this podcast, we've got it on screen, right? And he's doing his like famous like hip dancing that's
from Lionheart,
Lionheart, yeah. And he's doing the thing, and then he starts dancing with this chick. Like how long is this clip? It's like a minute. All right, here we go. And then she's just like, hips don't lie, Shakira style, and he's having a really good time. But then he gets up in there, right? And then they start dancing together, and he gets a boner and has to like leave the stage. And it's pretty hilarious. How have you never seen this clip?
I've just never come across any of my stuff.
No, here it goes. Now he's getting in there, and then it happens, and he has to leave. Hang on, we got 30 seconds. There it is, like right there. You missed it. Hang on.
Okay, you're pointing it out.
I've got my pointer. Like, pay attention to the JVCD hip swinging. And this guy's like, what's going on over there?
That guy's looking for it.
And yeah, he's this is a terrible like quality clip, and it's on our terrible little deal. But look, he's like getting embarrassed. Look at him, like there he is leaning over, and he has to. Everyone's laughing at him, and he's bent over.
That's the muscle from Russell
right there, having to go off stage for getting a boner. So,
well, anyhow,
good stuff. Who brought that? Thanks, Baldwin Orange, for getting us completely derailed.
I just said about the production, the stage play. And
No,
you were
I-
like, you guys ever heard of Jean-Claude's Ding Dong, bro?
You remember that time when Jean-Claude got a boner on Spanish television? I do. Oh, sorry that my brain is this way.
Would rather have dinner with Schwarzenegger or Van Damme.
Schwarzenegger all day.
Schwarzenegger, man.
Then we
He'd
get
probably,
to go riding tanks.
That's what I was gonna say. He'd hand you a stogie, let you throw grenades, and ride in a tank. Because that's what his Omaze giveaway is you get to hang out, and have dinner with him. He lets you shoot the cannon on a tank that you drive around, forces you to smoke cigars, and you just blow stuff up.
Dude, that sounds like a great time.
And
I don't
he's
even
like,
like cigars.
Yeah, I got all these guns because I'm governor. It's just like, yeah, dude, this rules.
Gubernatorial perks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Okay, well, that's what's coming out in theaters this week. Do you want to give a quick, 5-minute review of the movie you watched, or
dude,
no?
yeah, it's so easy to do. I watched Totally Killer on Amazon. It's the new Prime release. It snuck out into the streaming world. It's the story of a girl. She's 16. It's Halloween, and her mom is freaking out because 35 years prior, in 1987, There was all of these girls, or 3 girls that were friends of her mom's who were all murdered out on each of their 16th birthdays or all these parties they had when they were 16. They call him the Sweet 16 killer because he kills them on their 16th birthday, but all 3 of them had like birthdays within like 2 or 3 days of each other. So I don't, and only one of them does it ever kind of say was a birthday. The rest of them were just parties. But this, the mom is murdered at the beginning of the movie because the killer's back, right? After 35 years, why is he back? And the girl's friend happens to have been working on a time machine that her mom had designed. So she,
Of course, as you do.
yeah. So the main character girl is attacked by this killer very close to this time machine, so she hops in there to hide, and then she tries to activate it for some reason, even though she knew it wouldn't work. And he comes in, he stabs the time machine, and all of a sudden she's back in 87, and now it's her duty to stop the killer in the 80s so that he can't come and kill her mom in 2023. I know I said 35, they say 35, and even though it's 87, they do say 2023, so I think they forget how their math works, but it doesn't matter. So it's a comedy, but it's also a slasher, and it's a time travel movie all at the same time, and it does each one of those things fairly well.
Okay.
It's a bit...
And where is it streaming again?
Amazon. Yeah. It's kind of like The Babysitter was, what was that, Netflix or whatever?
Yeah.
So it's like a pretty good slasher killer movie, but it brings in like comedy elements so that the whole thing isn't just like a Scream film, basically. But they even reference Scream. There's lots of like horror movie tropes that they acknowledge and stuff because of the time travel. But basically the whole thing is an 80s dick joke too, though. They talk at length about
Jean-Claude Van Damme's
BJs.
boner.
No, yeah, about just like BJs. In fact, one girl is just like, she's like, dude, I suck off people constantly. And everyone's like, yeah, that's your thing. And they're like,
Is her name Lisa?
No, something like that.
It's like the 80s name.
Yeah, so like go in this ride at the fair on Halloween. You're going to be the bait for this murder man. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, just pretend that you're like going to be sucking someone. And she's like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's so easy. I do that all the time. But that's like not an exaggeration. I'm actually toning it down a little bit. So stuff like that's a bit excessive, and it has all of these things where they're like, look at how dumb the 80s is, because you could easily kill anyone. You can obtain information, and you can do all these things, and here's these things that are labeled as problematic. And so the girl is a very like, hey, that's not okay, or like, you shouldn't do that about it in this world she doesn't really belong in.
And everybody's telling her she's stupid.
Yeah, but once it tones that down a bit from her being like, oh, the 80s, oh my God, it actually gets to be pretty fun. And I mean, I liked it. Okay. It's something that's fun to watch, at least. And I mean, if you have Prime, which who doesn't, it's Halloween, it's Halloween themed.
It's an October movie.
It's a murder movie, but you get some like comedy and sci-fi in there with it, which is a lot of fun, and definitely worth a watch. I had a good time with it.
Right on. Well, you can check it out on Amazon Prime. And on that note, it's time for the box office roundup. It's the last thing of the show. We've made it. We've made it this far, ladies and gentlemen. And what we do... Oh, we go, wait.
Well, Landry points out that he stabbed him 16 times. Yeah, but it was all that they were 16 and they were stabbed 16 times, and it was like one of their birthdays. There's different things that they point out, but then don't really stick to.
They stick it to it.
Yeah.
Well, we give you the box office roundup for the last weekend in the theater. Most of these are domestic numbers because domestic numbers are the ones that people pay attention to, the producers. We're going to give you the top 10 movies in America. Vince wants to do a quick number 11.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
And then we will go to number 1. So, Jake, take it away.
Yeah, number 11 in its second week out, 30 years later. Hocus Pocus brought in $873,000.
It's funny that re-release in theaters 30 years later is gonna be more successful than the third movie that they're gonna be probably putting out next year.
Oh yeah, I forgot they said they were going to do a third one.
I know.
The second one was not.
Yeah,
not
no one
good.
cared. They were like, "Oh my God, Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah, it's brought in $3.26 million in its 2 weeks of Fathom event release or whatever it is. Disney, so probably not Fathom, but special 30th anniversary release. And then coming in at number 10, and 5 official weeks out. I think this is only like the second or third week
Like
of
full
release. Yeah, $900,000 brought in by Dumb Money, $12.6 million brought in by It. I read that it had a pretty big budget.
So did I. Yeah, this movie's not doing very well.
Yeah, we'll see how it does on that physical media that's going away.
It'll probably do great on streaming.
Yeah. And then holding at number 9, Equalizer 3, 7 weeks out. Good to see that this one's still up there. $950,000 brought in by It, $90.5 million. So good on It. That one actually is a lot of fun. It's like a slasher movie, but it's the good guy doing it. So lots of fun on that one too. And then 6 weeks out from Warner Brothers, The Nun 2 coming in at number 8. $1.6 million brought in by It. $83.75 million grossed by Nun 2.
Cash money.
They're going to keep making these things forever. Like Disney, take a lesson from Nun 2 or any of this controversy. That no one gets tired of that crap.
It was interesting to see. Number 7's kind of interesting to me because it did not have as big of a drop as it kind of stayed more steady than a lot of the other movies around it.
Yeah. So coming in at number 7, a movie that you watched and reviewed, A Haunting in Venice, 5 weeks out, $1.95 million brought in this past week, bringing its domestic total up to just shy of $39 million.
Yeah,
It's hard. That's
I
hard
think that's
for this
the
one.
last of those we're gonna see.
Yeah. So definitely a bummer for that one. Even though you were just complaining about the Agatha Christie stuff.
No, I
You
like
liked
I
them.
like
Yeah.
Agatha Christie stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like people copying the formula and thinking that they invented it. That's what I just make an Agatha Christie movie. If we're gonna make an Agatha Christie movie,
Yeah, but I mean, who's to say it's copying the formula? I mean,
dude,
like,
Knives Out is an Agatha Christie movie. The first one, not the Onion.
there's all
diced
sorts
onions.
of detective stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, like Murder, She Wrote or
Well, you're telling me that the character in Knives Out is not an American Poirot?
Columbo is, well, I guess Columbo's
Because he talks with an exotic accent, and he comes in, he's like, I'm eccentric and have interesting tastes, and I act real stupid even though I'm paying attention to everything. And it's just like Hercule Poirot. He's just kind of like this little uppity butthole.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway.
It's like that Daniel Craig probably steps out into the foyer and he goes, "Killer, show your seals."
Yeah. I'ma find you.
And then coming in,
Just a country detective.
yeah, like the Futurama. Like, I'm just a dumb country lawyer chicken. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny what people think about
Well,
us.
and what's stupid about that character is he's a world-known like detective, and he comes in and goes, "I'm the dumbest guy in the room and don't know nothing, and you're supposed to believe me." At least Hercule Poirot comes in and goes, "I am smarter than you, and fuck off," you know. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, they're still fun, though. And then coming in at number 6, only dropping one spot, The Blind, $1.95 million. It's brought in 13.9 and
Which is wild.
crazy too for a Fathom event. Being out 3 weeks.
Yeah, and still hanging in there. And our friends here at Prisma, right here down the street, were the post studio that did that movie. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And then coming in at number 5, another Disney movie not doing what they want. 4.3 brought in by this one, The Creator. Its domestic take in its 3 weeks out is only 32.4.
Oof.
Yeah.
I want to see this movie. I was hoping I would have time to see it this weekend, but I like a good sci-fi movie.
I've tried to make myself go watch it because, yeah, I like sci-fi too, and sci-fi in the theater is one of those things. Seeing it on the scale of the theater really helps. Like, anytime if I watch Blade Runner 2049 or whatever
On TV.
like on my home theater, it's just not going to work the same way it did when we watched it in the movie theater.
It's a different. No, it's like Dune, the new Dune movie.
Oh, dude, Dune! I haven't even tried to watch that one at home because I watched it in the theater, and part of it was the silence and stuff of being in the theater and having all of that. There's certain movies, so yeah, I've been trying to make myself, even with Ken Watanabe and stuff in it. It looks boring.
A little bit.
Yeah. Like, listen, I can do a boring movie. I watched the first Blade Runner in almost all of its forms. I can do a boring movie. It just looks boring. And then coming in at number 4, 3 weeks out for this one as well, Saw 10, $5.67 million. Its domestic take so far is 41.4. Not too bad for
making
a horror
money.
movie. Yeah. And then just above it, one of the most not family friendly to the most family friendly one sandwiched here, Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie, 3 weeks out, $6.9 million. It's brought in $49.75 million.
That's some movie money right there, and it's doing okay overseas too, I believe. Yeah, it's doing better overseas.
Yeah, internationally, it's brought in $76.5 million. So its worldwide take is $126.25 million bucks. Not too bad for a TV show movie for kids at 5 and under or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just topping it, dropping from the number 1 spot to hold number 2, The Exorcist Believer, let's just say $11 million. Just shy of $11 million, bringing its domestic take in 2 weeks up to $45 million.
Which is great for a horror movie, but I've heard from a couple people that watched it, it's not good.
I've not heard any positive reviews. Everything I've seen has said that people really have not liked this.
But it's the formula. It's like scary, spooky movie sequel in October.
Yeah, so people are going to watch it because, they want to have that. They want something scary to watch. They've probably already seen The Nun 2. They've probably already seen whatever else is out, Saw and stuff, if that's their kind of thing. And this is just, they're going to go watch it, even though people say it's bad, because it's something to watch, and I can say
there will be a scary part.
Yeah, exactly. And then coming in at number 1, you knew it was already, $92.8 million.
Bing, 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 bing.
Taylor Swift has brought in more money than some of the MCU releases.
Worldwide was 123 million opening. Yeah,
jeez.
Another 30 million in the domestic or the international market. So
remember when she was a little teenager that was a country singer and stuff? And now look at her, $93 million opening,
shaking it off. It's all money. Yeah. So anyway, that's your box office report, and that's the show. We're out of time. We got to get out of here. We both have things to do, jobs to perform, and that aren't this podcast. So we do have lives outside of this. So thanks for tuning in. I mean, some of these podcast people act like this is their whole life, and this is all they do. We're not those people.
We got to get the hell out of here, dude. We got lives to leave.
We're done.
This podcast.
This is my busy season. I got a lot of stuff going that I got to go. I still have several errands that I got to run after I leave here. And anyway, so thanks for tuning in. You can check us out wherever it is you like to check us out. You can tune in Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We prefer Twitch. It's a lot of fun. You can also download this audio podcast wherever it is you get your podcasts from. And just search for the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. There is a hyphen in Drive-In. And if we don't see you before then, we'll see you next week. You can always jump into that Discord and chat with all of our friends and fans in the Discord. And Jake, do you have any parting wisdom words? Anything like that?
I will try to be in the Discord for you people so that you don't miss me too much anymore.
You heard it here first.
Don't
quote him on it. But
I was gonna say, don't be surprised if I try and talk one of you to play Darktide with me.
Oh well, then there it is, and you might get a taker. So we still need to do the Monkey Island chapters, but anyway, the Universal Collection. No, it's not. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, we're out of here. we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.